All right, welcome to the pod.
Welcome to room temperature. We're not hot. We're not cool. It's room temperature.
We are definitely not cool.
No.
Um. Anyway,
Yeah, something happened like either last week and we forgot to talk about it or like the end of last week, and I'm totally blanking on what it was.
we ended last week's podcast. I just edited it today, and there's like a 5 minute thing where you and I are trying to like eloquently dance around talking about people we know personally,
Yeah.
and you're just like, let's just end it so we can hang out. I cut all that out and just put in like a thing that says, James and Brandon proceeded to talk about people you don't know or care about for 5 whole minutes, and then they decided to end the podcast, and then it's just us going, "Gamers rise up," and then like it ends.
Very good. I'm glad that we mentioned this now in the start of this podcast so our audience has context for the things we cut.
Yeah, they're gonna be
Uh,
curious.
we're all a little curious. I what was I gonna say? There fucking something happened.
Like something about cars
Yeah, something about cars. There was some actual car news.
this week. We talked
Or
about Nikola a
last week.
little.
Last week. Last
Uh,
week. It was.
like big. What did we talk about last week? We talked about Harris Hill a lot. Your
Mhm.
Civic overheating.
Yeah,
You showed the video of me butt fucking the Fiesta.
it was really good. It's always a good
It's
video.
always a good classic video, even though it's 2 years old almost.
It is a classic video.
Classic, yeah, real classic. Um, we talked about Teslas, how fast they are in straight lines on tracks, but terrible in the corners.
Still true.
We talked about the Z,
Yeah.
the disease,
Ah,
Z, the disease. I actually have something to talk about with my brother. We've had this conversation before, but I'm glad we're actually going to record it on a podcast tonight. I'm gonna text him real quick. I'm gonna say we're talking about you. I'm doing the pod. We were talking about your dumb Jeep problem.
oh, his. I love talking about your brother's dumb Jeep problems. It make like no matter what else is going on in my life, it makes me feel better that I was never dumb enough to buy a Jeep.
He was the perfect customer for this car. For context, he has a 2014 Jeep Grand Cherokee V6 with four-wheel drive. Because that's always important to anybody who knows Jeeps. Their all first question is gonna be like, "Well, you told me the engine. Does it have four-wheel drive?"
Do they make Jeeps that have four-wheel drive?
The Laredo trim, yeah, Laredo, I think is what it is. The lowest trim Grand Cherokee's rear-wheel drive, and you can't tell. I mean, I can't tell. I mean, they're just like cloth
Mm.
interior Jeep Grand Cherokees.
I mean, I guess that makes sense, but I feel like Jeep should be a Subaru thing of like
No,
they're all 4x4 just because that's our thing.
at
If
the
you
end
want
of the day, they're Chrysler crossovers.
No, I know. I get that, but I guess my point is they should sell them as Chryslers or Fiats if they're not going to be four-wheel drive.
Oh, for real? Okay. Well, yeah, that'd be weird if you had like a Fiat that was a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
I mean, you have a Fiat that's a Jeep already, so
Well, I mean, the Grand Cherokee though is like a full size, mid-size crossover. It's a two-row crossover. It's the size of a Volkswagen Atlas or a Mercedes ML. Um, you know, it's a mid-size cross, but it's the Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's almost as famous as the Wrangler. It's been around with us for 30 years now, and they sell a shitload of them. Blessed is the car. Um, I have a soft spot for Jeep Grand Cherokees. My dad had them when I was growing up. He had a 1990. Let's we can make this our first share screen. Let's try to share screen on. Let's try to share screen on PC. I'm not used to using PC. My fucking MacBook has no memory left. Is that also, yeah? What does that mean when I'm out of it? I'm just out of RAM.
it means that your RAM is full and you have and that it is unrealistic to try and compress any more memory to disk. So you're just kind of fucked.
So do I just throw it in the trash?
You could reset it, close some running programs. You have too many things open.
I
That's
all I had open was Chrome, Zoom, and not Skype, the other one.
Teams,
No,
Discord.
it's like Discord, but it's Slack. Slack.
Well, I guess you gotta take those out.
I closed everything and it was still giving me the thing. It was like there you were out of application memory, and I'm like, I only have Chrome running it now.
Application memory. I hardly knew him.
Liquor barn. I barely knew her. Um, Jeep Grand Cher. Anyway, we'll figure it out. I have this computer, and I'm very lucky to have two pretty new PCs. So we're fine.
I'm coming to you live from a 2012 MacBook Pro that still works great, unlike James's 2016 MacBook Pro.
It's very unfortunate that
It's very unfortunate that you
it's
didn't ask me for literally any advice before clicking the buy button on that MacBook
I
Pro.
literally asked the wrong tech friend. I literally asked the guy who was like, it doesn't matter if you buy it with 8 gigabytes of RAM, you can just put more RAM in it later. And then
Nope,
after I bought it, you were like, nope,
none
it's
of that is
integrated.
true. You should text me and tell me who you asked so I know to never listen to that guy.
You already know not to listen to him.
Oh, is it the guy from House Party?
Yeah, no, not that guy. He was on House Party. He lives in Denver. We
Okay,
always
yeah,
do
yeah.
this.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
You
yeah,
were
yeah.
already like you know he's a smart guy, but he does things like the opposite that you do him, where you're very like pragmatic. He's very ostentatious. He's like, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if it's good or not. If it makes me look rich, I'll do it.
Hell yeah. No, okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, this was anyway. Back to cars, car podcast. Right, this was my dad's first Jeep Grand Cherokee. Um,
Yeah, those are nice.
yeah, I loved this car. I still think it has a really modern kind of like design to it. If you get this one, well, not that one, but if you get the one that doesn't have the plastic on the sides, it actually looks pretty good. Um, but you could never find those. Those were always like dealer installed options. So the only ones left out there are these, and they were not meant to last. These are essentially AMCs, even though they're Chryslers. They were made with all the AMC properties that were left on the cutting room floor. But
Right.
yeah, they're essentially AMCs. And then my dad had some other cars in between there. He had like an Infinity when Infinity was like brand new. He had a '94 Infinity. That was like cool. It was a Q45.
Well, he had one. We're not going to go as far as say it was cool.
I thought it was really cool. But when I was like 5, I don't even know what those looked like. Let's look those up really quick.
Yeah, what's that look like?
Infinity. It was like it was like the BMW 5 Series, but from Nissan.
Legendary for quality.
Yeah, this is the one that this is what my dad's looked like. I'm pretty
Hideous.
sure. No, he had one that
Awful.
was he had no, it was earlier than that. It had to be so we lived in Edmond at the time, so it had to be a 95.
I
This is a
couldn't. I
great
don't.
topic, parents' car history.
Yeah.
It had to be this. It was this. It was definitely this. It was this. He had a British green with tan interior, one of these, and he had it for like 2 years. And we never really spoke of this car because there was nothing to be said. He thought it was great because he was like, I really just want an executive saloon, but it's like, I
Yep.
always thought
That's it.
yeah, that's it. But it's never gonna break. It's always reliable. He said it was like pretty quick. He loved how fast it was. But like, you know, I wonder. I don't think a V8 was under the hood. I think it was a turbo V6
It was probably just a regular V6. Is it rear wheel or front wheel drive?
rear
Oh,
wheel.
go back. It just said. I guess it's gonna say here too.
Yeah, rear wheel drive, 4 to power by V8 engine. Okay, so it was a V8, full size luxury car. So yeah,
What
this wasn't even a mid size. This is a full size.
what V8 did they put these in here? Oh wait, was it a first or second gen?
It was a second gen. First gen, 89 to 96. No, it had to be a first gen because he bought it in like 95. 4.5 liter V8 is rated at 278 horsepower.
Pretty good.
Related engine, the 4.5 liter VH45DE V8
DE dual overhead cam.
is a good car. This is
That's
the one the same buddy who recommended me the MacBook had. No, wait, no, he had an Infinity J45, which was like the E class. That had a V6. VH41DE, and then the other one had the VK45DE V8. And then that was the end of that. It was succeeded by the G35, right?
sounds right.
Replacement. The Q45 is no longer exported to the US to us, being initially replaced by the M35 and the M45. Q45. I remember the M45. It was boring as hell. My friend Robert's dad had one in high school, and I thought it was the most boring car in the world. And he replaced it with a Lexus. Anyway, after that, my dad got a 1998. That was really a roundabout way to type that in. Jeep Grand Cherokee, and his was awesome. It was black and gold.
I love black and gold
It was
colors of my
awesome.
college.
Are they really?
Yeah, UCF. Go Knights.
Huh. The Knights. I like that. I've never had a cool team. This was he had those wheels and he had that gold pinstriping down it, and it had the gigantic Hemi V8 under the hood. It was so cool, and all he did with it was to take it to work and take it to the golf course. So it always smelled like sunscreen and leather. It's fucking
Oh
cool as
yeah,
hell. Then
I love a leather daddy.
he hit a deer, and it was fine. But then a cinder
I don't think
block.
the deer was fine.
The deer was not fine. The deer was decapitated, and we don't need to go into the details of that on our kids friend, our family podcast. This is a Christian podcast.
That's the Christian podcast.
Christian, like a stripper at a club in Georgia. That's how Christian we are. But then a cinder block fell off of a flatbed in front of him, and it went right through the front grill, and the car was completely destroyed.
That'll happen.
And he replaced it with a 2001. I don't want to fuck it up again. What did he get? Mercedes. Oh, I love this car. E430. This is one of the cars I learned to drive on. That exact car right there. The German taxi.
Pretty cool looking.
It was cool looking. He had it had one bladed windshield wiper, and it would like oscillate up and down.
Oh, I don't like that.
I loved that. It did it really fast. It did it like that quick, and it had those little things that came out under the headlights. They would shoot out, spray the headlights, and then a little wiper would wipe them and like go back into the friggin'. I'm gonna find a YouTube video of that.
That sounds like a lot.
It was a Mercedes.
I have never had anything even halfway like that, or I've known anyone who has. I think until I met you Audi boys, the nicest car I'd ever seen. I'd ever like known someone close to me have.
Watch this. But keep talking.
Was I'm trying. It might have been like my grandma's base model Infinity sedan or town car or something.
That's still a nice car.
I mean, yeah, but it's not like it has these window things that come in and out.
They're just ridiculous. It's just like ridiculous over engineering. And then like the older ones had little wiper blades on them. They used to be kind of a staple of Mercedes Benz, but they don't really. Yeah, this is the old 190E. They don't really do this anymore, just because, who cares? My headlights are dirty. I can't use Windex. This car's so cool. I fucking love 190Es. It's terrible.
Why don't you marry one?
I wish. I would marry one. See, they have them on the outside, so it's just like, fuck it. It's right there. There's that one blade windshield wiper I told you about.
That's pretty cool.
This is when I liked Mercedes. I just hate them now. They just make the worst cars. Oh, I know what
So I should
happened.
not get an AMG wagon.
If you want, they're not gonna. Then I don't know about the new one.
I just
Like,
want to impress you, James.
you want to impress me? Get an RS6. Okay,
Okay.
there I said it. Let's get back to Zoom. Anyway,
Anyway,
um, did you want to talk about your parents' cars?
um, I mean, they had some cars, like nothing that cool. Mostly, what I remember is hand-me-down cars. Like they had a cars that were like my grandpa's that he bought for his company as like executive cars, and then and then they would drive them for a few years, and he'd be done with them.
Were they like
So they
town
called them.
cars?
No, it was a. I remember it was the high. The one I remember really well was the high spec Pontiac Bonneville. It was like a '96 or something.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it had a bunch of really cool features, and none of them worked.
Um, just they just were shitty, so they didn't work.
Yeah, like it was a '90s GM product, so they were all broken. It was like this dark green with a leather interior. I remember a dual climate control, except the passenger side didn't work. Um,
Like this thing.
no, 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 no. Like '96, later than this.
So like melted bar of soap.
Yeah, melted bar of soap.
Let's do 96.
That looks like a brand new bar of soap. Yeah, one of these numbers.
Okay, yeah, this was like the almost a Buick. I kind of remember
Right.
these. These may have been grandpa cars, you know.
Yeah, they were totally grandpa cars.
Now, my friend in high school, his first car was literally a base model Pontiac Grand Am or Grand Prix. Sorry, I think it was a Grand
I
Prix.
mean, whatever.
It was like a '03. Yeah, that was it. And he had the base model V8.
What?
I mean, yeah, he had like a cloth interior automatic GM with a V8. And I remember him being like, "Yeah, my dad was like, you should just get the one with the big engine." And I was like, "I don't care. Please give me a car. I'm 16." And his dad was like, "Well, the bigger engine means it's safer." I would
That's
talk to
math.
this dad. I'm still like actually like whenever I see this guy's dad when I'm like back home, which I'll never go back to. Like I saw him at a wedding a couple years ago, and he was just he's the weirdest dude. He was always like, "James, it's been so long. Did you know that the Dallas Zoo now has rhinoceroses?" Like, no. Like the first words out of his mouth. Like that's the type of dude we're dealing
I
with.
love
Like,
it.
yeah, he's just like the nicest guy. He's like 6'8". He looks like Woody from Toy Story. It's crazy. But yeah, the he had a Grand Am GT, and he was like, "I like this car, but it's like always broken and I'm always out
Uh-huh.
of gas." I'm
Oh,
like, "Yes,
weird.
Mac." And then he bought a Honda Accord, and he told me that it was the greatest thing that he'd ever done with his life. A bunch of
Because he
crumbs
didn't
just fell out of my beard. That's weird. Oh, it's dirt.
because he didn't have to buy gas every 2 days.
Yeah, he got a four-cylinder Honda Accord, and then he wrecked that, and then he bought another four-cylinder Honda Accord, the exact same car,
Hell yeah, same color and everything.
same color, except he didn't. He got he didn't get leather interior on the second one.
Okay.
He couldn't find one. Yeah, the first car he bought, he like got in a really bad wreck. Like he was on 35, and somebody in the far left lane, their car had stalled. And so he had to like get out of the way and cut off a semi truck, and he clipped the semi, spun around on 35, hit the wall, and then came to a rest with that semi coming right towards him. So the semi driver apparently really knew what he was doing. So he threw his own truck into the wall, bounced off of it, and landed on his side on 35. It was bad. It was like a we couldn't believe he was alive after this. He's like one of these guys that like he has so many close calls. Like he got cancer like a year after that. He beat that. He tore his ACL snowboarding. I think just like 2 or 3 years ago, and
I
was debilitated for like half a year. Had to go to physical therapy. Had to live with his parents for like 2 years after college
Yeah,
because he couldn't walk.
yeah.
It's just one thing after another with this dude. This person is the person from House Party.
I know you said his name, and I remember.
Okay. Well, I didn't say too much about him. He's not going to get doxxed. Um, but yeah, I sold him a Honda Accord when I worked for Audi at that Audi store,
Oh,
and
nice.
yeah, he got
How
a
come you
really
never
good
sold
deal.
me a Honda Accord?
Well, you never wanted it.
That's not true.
Well, did you want that fucking? I remember when he dragged his ass to that. He drove from Dallas down to Austin, and he showed up, and this dude was such a like frat bro type of dude. He's like, well, I cleaned the car out, and it's all ready for you, but I'm really looking to get a good deal here. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna give you the absolute best deal I absolutely can. We're buddies. And he's like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. I'm like, look, I know I'm a car salesman. You and I grew up together, and we're looking at a used Honda Accord here. So I'm going to give you whatever I can give you. First thing we got to do is we got to look at your car. And me and my boss went out to do an appraisal on his car. And my boss looked at me. We opened the door, and it's like everything is sticky. There's trash stains everywhere. It smells like cat piss because he had a cat, and I'm sure it just pissed all over everything. And like all he did was like vacuum it out and like throw everything away. And it was empty with like a pretty much empty tank of gas. And I was like, look, dude, I know you want to get rid of this car. And he's like, well, I mean, I can still shop around. I'm like, well, you're going to need a full tank of gas. And I happen to notice you didn't have any luggage with you. So unless you're going to spend the night, you're probably going to hit the road either in this or in a brand new car. And he was like, okay, so what are we talking about? I'm like, look, I'm not going to discount my car any further for you. My boss went out there and he told me that that was the worst trade in he's ever seen in his entire life. And I got him to come up an extra $1,000. Take it or leave it. He was like, well, maybe an extra 500. I'm like, I can't come up an extra 500, but what if I could do $250 off the price of the car? So I'll wash it for you. I'll put a full tank of gas in. We're not supposed to do that on pre-owned cars. I'll put a full tank of gas in it because you're my friend. But like, man, your car is going to be going to like the scrap heap. No offense. And he was like really kind of like offended by it. And I was like, I'm sorry, but like, I don't want to like sit here and like lie to you when you drove down for 4 hours. Your car is
I
filthy. It
I
needs to be
th
thrown away.
those are my favorite posts on r/ask car sales of like shitty things to say to buyers. Like, how much is my car worth? How much gas is in it?
That was pretty bad. I like told him straight up after that. I was like, look, man, in the future, you're probably not going to buy a car from me all the time. But if you roll up to a dealership and you ask them to appraise the car and they see that it's completely cleared out and has no gas in it, he's like, I was wondering about that. I mean, like, and I was like, yeah, we knew like you were either going to drive all the way back to Dallas in this piece of shit, or we knew you wanted a new car.
Yeah.
And like that's you're kind of playing into our hands. And I'm just telling you that because like I do this for a living, and I'm like, but I gave you the biggest fucking discount in the world. And he actually bought product and finance because I told my finance manager, I was like, this is who this guy is. And he's like, can I make any money off of him? I'm like, you should try. I mean, like, I don't, if you're straight up with him, and like, because the products we sold at that dealership were actually pretty good. I know
Yeah.
they're products, but like, he could have taken that old piece of shit Honda Accord he bought to another franchise name here store and like gotten good service with the product he bought. So he ended up buying some product, and my finance manager like bought me breakfast tacos because of it. And he's like, "Yeah, they made some money on the deal." Like, all right, great.
Well, there you go.
Well, there we
Everybody's
go.
happy.
Everybody's happy.
I Ask Car Sales is like definitely my favorite subreddit. Ever since I
Yeah,
started hanging out with you guys, I have read that subreddit religiously, and I'm a worse person for it, but I don't care.
I have. I also read that. At the same time, though, I hope I never sell cars again. But if I have to, I have to. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't have a job by the end of the year, I'm definitely going to be applying to some dealerships again, just for any job, really. So it's a weird experience. Like, I would definitely recommend anybody who's like curious about selling cars at least try it.
That seems like the total thing about car sales. Like everyone on there seems like an awful misogynist, racist piece of shit, but
Yeah,
at the same time, literally they're all like, we're just here to make money. And I can think you're a subhuman piece of trash, but if you are making money for this company, you are my golden child. And it's so weird. It's so weird how they just like check all their obvious prejudices at the door and like save them for the water cooler because they are just so narrowly focused on making money and everyone's money spends, and so they can say awful racist things about a customer behind their back, but to their face they treat them like a first class citizen because they still have money.
Oh
And
no,
it's
it's totally true. I mean, as long as the customer isn't a complete jackass to me, I'm not gonna treat them like shit. Not even gonna be remotely aggressive. And
yeah.
yeah, it's true that the majority of car salesmen. This is one of the reasons I wanted out. The misogyny, the homophobia too, and like the
Hmm.
racism is just like it's pretty fucking rampant. But like and it's never perfect. I've had gay bosses that are like racists. And it's
Right.
just like, fuck, man, like you're gay. Like
You
you
know.
no, man. People are racist against you for liking other dudes. And then I've had I worked for a black owned dealership, and their attitude was just like it's impossible for us to be racist. We can act as racist as we want, but we're not racist because we're black. And like that's the fucking attitude. Is like
Yeah.
you're automatically disqualified from being judged as a racist because we're black owned. So like if
Yeah.
somebody says this is racism, you can be like, "Well, I'm sorry, but this is a black owned dealership, and if I was a racist, I would lose my job."
Right.
And like
Meanwhile, they're like not taking an up on the Mexican family that comes in because they're Mexican.
no, the I was taking those ups.
Right, that's what I'm
I was
saying.
fucking
Like,
taking those ups
because you
because
were the only.
I was
Yeah.
the new kid. I was like at that dealership. I only worked there for about 6 months before I packed it in. But like since I was so green working at that store, they were like, "Well, James has to take that up." And then
Yeah.
usually what would happen was I'd have to go to one of the Hispanic salespeople and get them to help me because they really just wouldn't warm up to a white guy. I mean, I hate to be
Yeah.
that way, but like I had a boss that was just like, look, man, it's just a cultural thing. They don't know you and they don't really want to get to know you.
Right.
But Sanchez and pre-owned, they might get to know him. And if you get him to close this deal, I'll make him split it with you. So it's just like, well, a split deal is better than a no deal.
Yeah.
It makes me feel pathetic, but whatever. I need money. Yeah, we should just like car sales stories are the fucking best. That's the only thing I fucking miss about selling
Yeah. I love all the
cars.
stories. I love all of the like. I love when it's like a slow week or something, or like when nobody's selling, so they're just like, it's time for a stories thread. What was 2008 like? What was whatever like? And just oh god,
Oh, the fucking '08 stories are so fucking good. And they still reverberate to this day. Like when I got my first sales job, I was an assistant for
Mhm.
this guy at Lexus. And the company during this it was like a big company, so we had you had to do 2 weeks of like training at their corporate office before you even like got on the floor.
Right.
And I never got on the floor. I was just like this guy's assistant. They touted the fact that the owner didn't let a single person go during the 2008 financial crisis. All of his salesmen and sales managers retained their jobs, and he made sure that he increased their compensation so that they had at least some money to take home while they waited for car deals and the economy to get better. And then as soon as I got that job, like out of training, I asked my boss about it. I'm like, yeah, this is a great company. I heard the owner didn't fire anybody or like dox anybody's pay during the '08 financial crisis. My boss was like, yeah, that's fucking a lie. Like they let so many people go. I'm like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, they let all these people go. Just none of them were salesmen. And I thought back and I was like, oh, they just said they left all the salesmen. They
Right.
fired all the like assistants like me, and they
Right.
fired all the greeters, which were like receptionists, and they fired all the office assistants. Like they just fired everybody except the salespeople. And according to him, nobody got checks. They got like an extra $100 a week handed to them by the managers. So they went from people like literally in '08 went from making $7,500 a month to like $2,500 a month. It was bad if you're in
Yeah.
retail based sales.
And that $100 wasn't keeping any food on the table or anything.
No, I don't have a lot of stories from my Lexus days. I remember selling uh, a Lexus to a Korean mobster, but like there's not much there except like I was just an asshole. He was like the most well dressed person I've ever met in my entire life, though. He like smelled good. It was incredible. We sold a lot. My boss was Korean, so we sold a lot of Lexuses to Koreans, And Koreans are great because when you sell them something, they bring you food, and most of them own bakeries in that area. They own like
Oh
they do. They just like they like
no, I'm
you're.
just saying that sounds good.
Oh, okay. That sounded like a like. Oh, that's racist.
No, that sounds like I want some Korean bakery
Oh my
food.
god, they brought like the best hot donuts, and like you knew they made them special for you because they're showing up at like 3:30 in the afternoon. Like there ain't no Korean bakery open at 3:30 in the fucking afternoon around here. They close at like 11:30 in the morning. They open at 3 a.m. and then they close at 11 a.m. And like oh god, it was so good. And then like we still had to be like, we can't give you $10,000 off a car. How about 2,000? They were like, we make you donut. Like, yes, you make us donut, but we are like below cost on this car at this point. They were super nice. Um, I remember going out and like putting a car up during a tornado. That was kind of cool. I like just like it was like the day after Christmas in 2015. This tornado hit the Dallas area. I think it hit like Garland or something. I like
Nice.
looked over and there like in the distance was like a fucking funnel cloud. And I was like, "Fuck this, man! Like fuck this job!" Like running back towards the dealership. It wasn't even close to me. It just like fucking scared me. But then when I worked at Audi, I like slacked off the whole fucking time. But I had a job as a technologist, and that was the best job I've ever had in my entire life. The only bad part of that job was the money. Didn't make any money. But they were just like, James, take this R8 up to B Caves, which is like the rich person part of Austin.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, okay, like take this R8. They have an RS7 trade in. Go pick up this RS7 in San Antonio, and then like, you're gonna take an RS7 there, and then we're gonna take this new RS7. You're gonna come here, and then you're gonna sell it to this like perfect 10 blonde woman who's married to like a 75-year-old man. Like, okay,
Okay.
James, this is Lance Armstrong. He needs help pairing his Bluetooth phone to his daughter's Q3. Okay. You're essentially so like if you're the lowest person on the totem pole at a car dealership, that's basically what I did. I was a runner. You hear guys like say a runner,
Hmm.
and that's just like go get shit. And you get to do pretty much everything. Like you get to handle all the inventory for the cars. You get to know where all the keys are. But you don't get this. You get to talk to customers, and if you're good at talking to customers, they'll make you a salesperson. But then like the pressure's on, and I fucking hated it when I was a salesperson there because I hate dealing with rich people. And I'm lazy, and I
I
don't
mean,
like working on
same.
Saturdays. I mean, yeah, it just wasn't like. Um, I hated it. I hate selling cars. I hate it. I fucking hate it. I really like selling Volkswagens though. If I was gonna go back, and like I very may well have to because the economy's in the toilet all of a sudden.
The economy.
The economy. Um, I would go sell like Toyotas or something or Hondas. I like Hondas and Toyota people because you can really just sort of sit them down and be like, okay, this is the car you want. I have the color you want. You guys go to lunch. If you sign this paper here for this payment that you said you wanted, I will have it ready in 30 minutes.
I have heard that um, you don't sell Hondas and Toyotas. You just kind of like massage people into buying them
Mm.
because there's nothing. They either they come in, they want one, or they come in there and they're fucking around.
It's the logical choice. It really
Right.
is. Like you either want it or you don't. If you don't want it, it's because you're bored by it. And if you do want it, it's because it's the logical choice. It's never a
Yeah.
bad car. Like the people aren't going to
That's
come
what
in and
I
be like,
say.
"Well, I hear these are unreliable." I'm like, "You heard wrong, and I can prove it." If you're at a Toyota or Honda dealership, Acura is apparently the same way. I almost work for an Acura dealership in Austin, but
I would kill myself working for an Acura dealership.
yeah, there's just nothing to sell. It's not that they're bad cars; no one wants them.
They are bad cars.
Are they?
They are old Hondas.
But old
Like
Hondas are good. They're
I
not
mean,
better than new Hondas, but they're good
mm,
cars.
no. The ILX is a ninth gen Civic. The TLX is a ninth gen Accord. Um,
Oh,
they're just
I have a wholesome Honda Accord story for you.
all right. I'm ready for it
Finish your
after this
point.
thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, they're coming out with new versions of these, but when you can get a spec'd out Accord for about the same price as a not well spec'd TLX, why would you buy the TLX? Because it's all wheel drive. Who gives a shit?
I would. Ooh, I like that all-wheel drive though. But the interior is garbage.
Yeah, they're they're shitty. They're
Let's
really
actually
shitty.
let's actually take a look at the
I mean,
interior.
like I own two Hondas, and I would not, and I would. There's nothing for me in an Acura showroom except
Yeah,
the
but you've
NSX.
never been a luxury guy, and these are I acknowledge that these are barely luxury
So
cars.
these are the 2021 TLX is not on showroom floors. You need to look at the 2020.
Yeah, this is the 2020 right here,
Okay.
2020 TLX. Yeah, see, it's got the dual screen from the last generation
Because it's a
Accord.
last gen Accord.
Like, yeah, sitting in here and looking at this, I'm just like, this looks like a Lexus from 2008.
Yeah,
This really is old for the price.
because it's an Accord from 2009.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that mechanically speaking, this is a bad car.
Sure,
I
but
just think
nobody,
everything else is bad.
but they don't come in manual, so nobody's buying one for how it drives.
I don't know.
Like
There are a lot of driving enthusiasts that like automatic, but I hear your point.
the ILX is a ninth gen Accord.
The ILX, yeah. No,
You just
9th Gen
type
Civic.
TLX again.
You said ILX is an Accord? Isn't it a Civic?
The ILX is a Civic. What did I say?
Accord.
Oh, my bad.
I just wanted to see the 21. Yeah, this is okay, so this is based on the new Accord.
Yes.
Okay, so that's a little bit better, but it's still like it's Acuras always have this really busy design language on the interior. Not as bad as like Audi is, but like really like these two little guy vents down are like all the way down here, and then this one's over here and it's way bigger. And then
It's
look,
it's
there's the G spot and it's right there. Look, beep. Don't love
yeah.
that.
Hold on.
I just talk to myself. I do like red leather interior, and I do like the Honda blue. Still a big blue fan. I mean, profile the interior looks good, but nobody's ever going to be looking at that shit. What is that? Oh, that's like the driving mode selector. Weird. So fucking weird.
Let's take a quick break because I think Nicole is home.
Okay, we'll take a quick break, and I'll tell you my wholesome
Here,
Honda Accord story.
yeah, here, pause the recording. I think that's the thing you can do.
It is. We're back, like the dinosaurs.
I don't think that's true.
You've never seen We're Back?
No. Should I?
The animated film from like 1990 where the dinosaurs come back and they talk, and John Goodman is one of the dinosaurs.
This sounds extremely familiar, but I'm gonna have to say no.
Let's see. I'm gonna show you the like video. I'm gonna show you.
The world?
I could show you the world. I'm gonna show you what the VHS box looks like and see if you recognize
There's
this.
any
We're
memories.
around the same age, so
You have to remember that I have never seen any movies ever.
I don't know. But you were a kid once.
Is that true?
Yeah, we're back. A dinosaur story,
Oh, this is stirring neurons in my brain.
isn't it? God, I loved this movie when I was a kid. I watched it all the time.
Okay.
I have a really creepy story that makes me sound like a creepy person, but I watched this movie so much when I was a kid, and when I got into art and I started drawing, and the older I got, whenever I had to draw like female characters, they always had a very specific haircut. Then like they always had the haircut of like, the like front bangs, like 80s anime haircuts, where it's like front bangs and sideburns and like short cropped back. Then I watched one of these nostalgia bait YouTube videos, and I saw the female like character in this show had a very similar haircut to that. And I was like, oh, this may have become psychologically ingrained in me at an early age as one of the experiences that formed what type of whatever,
Archetypical.
archetypical female persona. Are you laughing at me?
A little bit, but also I get it.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have those moments when you get older and you're just like, oh, this is why I like this.
This is why I'm fucked up in that extremely specific way.
Yes. And I was like, okay,
Like I
well,
realized a couple of years ago that I'm really into Hondas just because my first car happened to be a Honda Civic.
I mean, my first car happened to be a Mercedes, so and I'm still really into old Mercedes.
Yeah.
It's familiar in a
Yeah.
nostalgic
I
way.
I will never forget like my dad trying so hard to connect with me and getting me a Honda Civic t-shirt for like the year after I got my car, and I just remember being like, "What is this? I don't care. It's a Civic. It doesn't matter to me."
Now you
And
treasure that T-shirt.
I don't have it. I threw it away at some point or gave it away or something because I just remember like I never opened it. I remember that it was an 8th gen Civic logo shirt. So like that's the hyper angular logo that I still don't think looks very good. Um, and it was folded in the shape of a car and like cling wrapped so it kept that shape. And I always thought that was really cool, but I never wanted to wear the shirt.
Um, Speaking of Honda logos, do you remember seatbelt belts?
No,
They were belts, but they were seat belts. You're an emo kid. You don't remember this?
I was not an emo kid.
You were a ska kid. You don't remember this?
I wasn't really a ska kid.
Were you a scene kid?
I was a play Game Boy in the afternoons kid.
Okay, I'm sure that's a reference, but I don't understand it.
I
This
was not I was not a cool person. I had crushes on girls who were into this.
okay, yeah, because emo people aren't cool. They're quite obnoxious. But I had one of these with the Honda logo and one with the Mustang logo, and mine had like silver stars. It was black with silver stars. This was when I was trying to be emo
Yeah.
for
I
like
I
a
had
month.
I had a studded belt at one point in my life. I remember wearing it for I guess it probably would have been a couple years. That's as far as that
Uh,
story goes.
yeah, I always thought kitschy shit like this was really cool. But I had this Honda one. This is the Honda one I had. And I didn't even know what a Honda was. I just knew it was an car. Of the checkered one, that was the one my brother had. You can buy these at a place called God, what was it? It was a SoCal store. And you could buy this and like Dragon Ball Z t-shirts. Anchor Blue. People in California will know about Anchor Blue. Anchor Blue,
Shout out to California.
shout out to mall tier California fashion. Anchor Blue was super popular in the early 2000s in SoCal, and this is where like I bought all. It's completely. It has to be out of business by now. The
They
blue,
gone the way of sharper image.
yeah, and like other retailers. Goddamn, dude, I would go to the mall. I would go to Anchor Blue, and then I would spend the rest of my money at uh, Suncoast Video.
What's that Suncoast video?
Oh my god, this is my favorite store in the entire world. If there was one still operating, I would like pay to go see it. This was literally like in every mall in the early 90s. And it just sells movies and movies memorabilia.
I like a movie and a movie memorabilia.
Yeah, dude. It was just endless DVDs, CDs, and it had these like posters on the wall. You could buy classic movies. You could buy fake Oscars. I remember that. Like they were like paperweights, but they
Is
were
this different from FYE?
yes. But it's essentially the same thing.
Okay, great.
This is much more like movie themed. It's heavy emphasis on the movies. You could buy CDs, but it's mostly soundtracks.
Why is Charles calling me?
No, I don't know. Tell him we're doing the podcast. Put him on the air.
Oh, shit, what's he doing?
Did he smell the single? I have to bleep that out.
Charles can smell our desperation for guests.
Yes.
What is he talking about?
Sun Ghost.
Oh, he thought I was his brother. A natural mistake.
Oh,
It's
I meant
in
to
many
call
ways.
brother, not Brandon.
In many ways, I am his brother.
Oh yeah, FYE. This is the same thing. That is funny. I've never met his brother, but I know he doesn't look a lot like Charles. I saw a picture of him. I was like, "That's your brother? You guys don't look anything alike."
I
Have,
wish I could play Nier Automata again for the first time.
Have you beaten that game yet?
Yeah, I beat it earlier this summer.
Oh
And
wow,
like I like beat it. I got to like the real true ending.
wow. FYE was fucking crazy. I used to buy Robotech Masterpiece collection action figures there. Also, my brother and I got kicked out of a Sam Goody. Oh, it was good, Judy. Why? For they used to sell like Playboy posters,
Nice.
and we got kicked out of a Sam Goody for looking at Playboy posters.
Hell yeah, you did.
Yeah, all these stores are gone. Sam Goody,
Yeah.
FYE.
Oh yeah, no, these are all relics of our stained childhood memories.
Yep, nobody wants a fucking like CD store or Blockbuster or anything like that. Unless I'm sure it'll come back. I'm sure there will be like pop-ups that are like, oh, remember malls when people would gather in large crowds and then spend money on like consumer goods?
Man, I miss Blockbuster like so much. There is like kids today. I know I sound like an old ass man because I am,
It's true.
but um, like scrolling through Netflix is nothing like going to Blockbuster and seeing what's there, and the true experience is taking something else because what you want is all gone, and you're certainly not going home empty-handed.
No, you can only go once a week. Who could afford to go more than once a week? Um, Take comfort in the fact that one day people will be saying holograms downloaded directly into my brain are nowhere near as good as scrolling through Netflix. It just doesn't replace the experience of having 50 choices and then eventually just rewatching The Office again and again and again and again. I also use. Is this store still around? I used to buy
Uh,
all my clothes in high school at American Apparel.
I think that's still a thing.
No, not American Apparel. Sorry, I did shop at American Apparel. American Eagle.
I feel like that is still a thing.
Remember this? It was like an Abercrombie and Fitch type of place. I used
Yeah,
to buy
yeah,
like
yeah.
cargo shorts and like rugby shirts here. I dressed like a person with like special needs. I really did. I mean, like I had no idea what I was doing. Like for the first like 2 or 3 years of high school, I just like wore that, and I had a military surplus jacket.
Of course you did.
And then like senior year, all I wore is suits. I have told the stories about how I am the suit guy. I'm the guy in high school who wore suits. Wow, it's still
I
around.
I wore suits on Fridays.
Nice. Yeah,
Was
I
it
guess it's way more
was
into
it
the youth
was it
oriented
was it
athleisure.
Friday? I Yes, it was formal Fridays. We would all wear suits. That was a
I will.
thing.
Oh my god! Speaking of suits, I watched one of the very first Jordan Peterson videos the other day
Now, why did you go ahead and do a thing like that?
because I think Jordan Peterson is the weirdest person to me. Like, it's just like he's trying to trick people, But like, he only got popular in the last few years, but he's been on TV and shit. Like, he used to have his own like segment on a public access Ontario show in like 2009, and like, there's this video of him out there on TV, and he like brings his daughter with him.
His weird daughter.
Oh my god, she is. I think she's weirder than he is. Um, Yeah, he comes out on stage and he has like a black suit. Oh god, there's gotta be a picture of it. Yeah, he has like a black suit with like a black shirt and a silver tie and a fedora. And he's just like, oh, there's evidence that autism is caused by hyper levels of testosterone. So you could argue that those who are suffering from autism are actually the most masculine people on earth, and they're more manly than anyone could ever be because they have so much testosterone, and that's all women care about is a man with testosterone, and there's only two genders, and da da da, and the Nazi law is stupid, and it's just, oh my god, it's way there it is. This is it's so crazy to watch it because he looks so much angrier when he was like younger. It's just like, I'm expert. I know how female minds work, and I also know a lot about Nazis.
Just happen to, no big deal.
Just happen to know those things and be a psychiatrist, and there's no real reason. I don't know why the alt writers really
Don't
like
look
me.
into these things. Don't ask questions. Just
Don't ask questions. Just listen. I smart. Me smart. Me big.
be
Big man.
big.
Big smart.
Big
Uh,
man, big testosterone.
if you keep yelling at me, I will use bigger and bigger words. Uh,
You know what's the greatest tragedy of our times, James?
what?
There are no good Gundam games.
There have never been good Gundam games. There have
I
never been a
know.
single good Gundam game. And that's okay. You know what we got before um, a good Gundam game?
What's that?
An actual Gundam.
True. That's the latest car news of the week. There's an actual real ass
There's
Gundam.
the best car on the market right now is the real Gundam. This is the old real Gundam. Where's the new Gundam? This is the new Gundam. It moves.
It moves.
It moves.
There's a real Gundam goes against everything Gundam is about.
Yes. It's this is the I don't want to be like the guy who watches Mad Men and then goes up to people who like dress like Don Draper and be like, you're missing the point, you know? Like, but if
But
you
also,
watch Gundam and then want a real Gundam, you missed the point of Gundam.
yeah,
It's an anti-war anime with
yeah.
giant robots, except for G Gundam. That was a little different.
Oh, Gene Gundam's so good though.
Hmm.
It's not, but it lives right here.
I mean, it does, but like at the same time, it also G Gundam is underrated. Like some of the mech designs in G Gundam are really good. Like the Shining Gundam is legitimately cool.
You can't see Clarence because Zoom thinks he's
So
a
for
Honda
like a
Civic Type
split
R.
second, it was like boop boop. It was like a ghost.
He it thinks he's a Honda Civic Type R because he is.
He's the same color.
He is the same color. Fuck.
I'm just gonna replace us. I'm gonna get over this. I hate it when people do. There we go. Yeah, so the rumor is, there's a live action Gundam movie being made by
I did not know this.
Oh yeah, they announced it about a year and a half ago. It was being made by Legendary Pictures, the same people that made Interstellar and Inception. Yoshiyuki Tamano, the guy who created Gundam, is heavily involved. But the rumor is once this is completed, they're going to say, and this is the design of the Gundam from the upcoming live action movie. That's the rumor because this is the RX 78 2 Gundam,
Yeah,
but it's also not.
right. Well, I
Like,
mean,
it's got all these, like, accents on it. Okay, first of all, in the Gunpla world, which I haven't really been active in a long time, um, there's a new kit for the RX 78 2 every year. Like literally, Bandai comes out with an RX 78 2 Gundam kit every year. For those of you
yeah,
who don't
yeah.
know what we're
It's the
talking about,
Gundam.
yeah, it is the first Gundam. It is the symbol of. It's the mascot. It's like Mario or Yoda. It's the
All of the
mascot.
other Gundams look like the RX 78-2.
Yes, except the Mexico Gundam.
The Japan Gundam looks like this.
Yeah, they're all red, white, and yellow
Yeah,
and blue. But
for
originally,
America.
Yoshiyuki Tamano, when he created Gundam, he wanted the Gundam just to be white and black because he wanted it to look like a stormtrooper from Star Wars. And the toy company that had a contract with him said, "You can't do that. We'll never sell any of the action figures." So he reluctantly accepted the red and blue and yellow color scheme for the original series of Gundam in 1979. So he would sell more toys, and it bombed initially, and Gundam only gained popularity once it was in syndication. Cool little
Fascinating.
fun fact.
Anyway, what I was gonna say was how so this is more than just because when I saw this, it didn't phase me, and I was just thinking, oh, they added details so it doesn't look like a flat 50-year-old anime.
Yeah, that could also just be what they did, but like
Yeah,
the design is different in several key areas, but I'm not gonna like sit here with like a microscope. But you're right. I mean, literally, it could just be
We
you
need to
know
make this more visually interesting than the literally unshaded original design.
Japan's known for that though. They really don't harbor any like diehard nostalgia. Like the fans of any franchise over there don't just go like take magnifying glasses. It's like, when Star Wars came out here, the new Star Wars, they're like, well, here are the 10 differences in the uniforms of the First Order stormtroopers and the original stormtroopers and the clone. Like, who cares? It's just an updated design of the old movie because the movies are the same. This is just repeating themselves over and over again. Japan, like with the Evangelion rebuilds, they're just like, yeah, we're just retelling a 20-year-old story. We're just, line for line. And so we made everything look newer because it's 20 years newer. We can because we said we could. So, that I think, the people who are making up the rumor about this being the live action Gundam are Westerners who are just like, well, why would they change it? I'm like, they changed it because they felt like it. They just felt like updating the RX 78 2. That's it.
Things just happen sometimes.
Yeah, things just happen to things. But who knows? I mean, the other thing about Gundam is it is still very much a franchise, and the goal of the franchise is to make money. But there hasn't been a good Gundam anime in like 10 years. I mean, Unicorn Gundam was good, but that was an OAV, so I don't watch. Have you ever watched Build Divers?
No?
That's where Gundam is Pokemon. I think it's Build Divers. Build Divers Real Rise or Build Fighters. There's Build Divers Re-Rise, and Divers Try. So this is an anime.
Bill Diver is my favorite mechanic.
Uh, what?
Bill Diver just sounds like the name of a tradesman.
Oh, Build Diver. No, it's Build Diver. Like they build Gundams. This is a
Okay.
world where you buy Gundam model kits, and when you build them, they come to life, and you compete in arenas where they fight. And the anime protagonist in this show wants to be the best guy that does that in the world. Brought to you by Bandai. Buy
Of
our
course.
products. Buy. He takes
Bye
place
bye.
in the store, in the actual store. You can go and this is like if they made an anime about like car dealerships and it just took place in a dealership, but your car came to life and fist fought other cars. And every kid had like 9 cars, or it's just about any anime about cars. Actually, now that I think about it, these animes about cars are usually really realistic.
Are they? Which
Initial
one it
D was
is?
always pretty good. Well, they take place in
Oh, I
real.
haven't tried them. I'm just looking at them. There's that Colorado whiskey one. He I got a bottle of. He gave me a bottle of that one time. It tastes like fire, but it gets you fucked up real good. Uh, there's a bunch of these bird dog infused whiskeys that look good, and this looks very good. I'm very excited for this.
I assume you're
This
not
sure
talking to
does
me.
no. This sure does look like Gundam.
It kind of is, and it kind of isn't. Anyway, I just thought that was funny. This was one of the TV shows that is out, or it's been out in the last few years, and I just completely slept on it. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not gonna watch this. Unicorn was pretty good though.
Remember when this podcast was about cars?
Yeah, we should get back to cars. There's some car things I want to talk about that are pretty obvious, but I still want to talk
What?
about them.
What was happening?
Was it the
What?
BMW thing?
No, I don't care about BMWs.
I really wanted to talk about it though.
The thing that happened to me, the new Honda Log R app came out for the US.
Honda
Um,
Log R app. Can you explain that?
it is onboard. It is onboard logging for the Civic Type R. It's supposed to be a 2020 only feature, but word on the forums is that it works in a very limited capacity for 2019s, which yours truly has. And it doesn't work for 2017s and 2018s. Um, but
It gets your data.
yeah, it's supposed to be like imagine if the Corvette data logger was half as good and didn't take video.
Wait, does the Type R have a built-in GoPro?
No,
What car has the built-in GoPro?
you were thinking of the Corvette.
I was gonna say Camaro. That makes sense. That's cool, Brandon. If you like data,
I love data.
I know you do. I love data from Star Trek: The Next Generation, played by Brent Spiner. That's actually it's kind of cool. I could see that definitely being like something that would be in cars that are like performance cars being sold. Like my Mustang had the performance pack, but it had like the app suite.
Yeah,
It's really famous that is like Chrysler. The 8.4 Uconnect equipped like Hellcats always have the like performance settings. You can like make the exhaust louder and you can like see how much air is going into the turbo intakes or whatever, and like that's cool. If and I liked that when I had my Mustang GT because it was like, do you want to know how many watts your battery is making like right now? I'm like,
no.
sure.
My car actually does that. What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
watts, oil inlet temperature. Mustangs are really crazy about that.
Watts.
Watts, Watson, Watson.
Watts.
If we can get, hold on, I gotta text my brother about our COVID. We have to take COVID tests on Thursday.
What do you have fake COVID tests?
So I have to go pick up my brother in Dallas due to family circumstances. That's why I wanted to fucking talk about my brother's Jeep. That's what I got started. We have to talk about that next.
Yes.
Um, yeah, we have to talk about that next.
Yeah.
So we're going down there in Dallas, but like he's been around his extended family on his wife's side and his in-laws, and they've been mostly safe, but people have been leaving the house, and like we just don't want to risk it. So we want to line it up. So I go pick him up, we get in the car, we go directly to get a COVID test, and then we come home and just self-isolate until we get the results. I don't think the way he's described the situation, I really don't think he has COVID, but we just can't afford to risk it with the advanced age my parents are in.
Yeah.
So that's going to blow. But let's transition into solving, we can call it, this is to be our first viewer of the week problem. My brother has a 2014 Jeep Grand Cherokee V6 4x4 with, it's got around 36,000 miles on it. So it's like a nice normal amount of miles. And
A regular amount of miles for a regular car.
yes, he texted me today. He was like, I need tires. And I was like, okay, get some tires. And then he immediately texted me like a link to discount tires for these just random rubber boys. And I was like, okay, let's see these. And I was like, do these fit on your car? And he goes, I don't know. I was like, okay, well, what size wheels do you have? And he goes, I don't know. What size wheels do I have? I'm like, I don't know. What are the numbers on the side of the sidewalls of your tire say? And he said, there's a lot of numbers on there. I was like, it should say like 255, 30, blah, blah, like one 3-digit number hyphen a 2-digit number. Like, go get me that. And then let's go to Discount Tire. And then he starts talking about how he wants LED headlights on his car because he has these halogen bulbs that are ass. I have
Yeah.
driven his car at night and they are really bad.
Yeah, halogens are ass. What he actually wants is HIDs because HIDs are always better than
Well, he said,
LEDs.
should I buy LED lights? I'm like, I don't know. Do you want LED lights? Like, what do you want your lights to do? And he's like, I just want them
No,
brighter. And he's like, I
no,
found them for
no,
$50. I'm like,
no.
$50. And he showed me he found these LED lights that like you put in your headlights that are he found running lights. He found LED running lights and he's like, these will work, right? And I'm like, no, that's you
You
use that to
you
make your
don't
car look like an
put
Audi.
you don't put fucking LED bulbs in your halogen reflector housings.
No, he has to buy a whole new headlight set. Doesn't he have to buy an amplifier too? I really don't know how it works.
I do know how this works. What are you talking about?
He wants to replace his headlights
Okay.
with brighter headlights.
Okay. How much money does he want to spend? If the answer is less than $1,000, the best he can do are some nice halogens.
So this is where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
I told my dad this story. We're just talking at dinner. We're eating our rice and beans.
Yeah.
And he was like, he's got to sell that piece of shit. And I was like, yeah, he really fucking does. So he needs to sell that car.
Correct.
He wants to buy a Toyota Tacoma, and he has common sense. I mean, he may not
Yeah.
know much about cars, but he has common sense. He's pragmatic. Um, we will go to every CVS eating fudge the whole way looking for COVID tests. Okay, that sounds like a plan.
They have a point. You just go. You have to make an appointment. You have to make an appointment. You go online.
We're
You
trying to
drive.
call our doctor. We have a doctor in Oklahoma. We're like, we'll be here at 3:30 p.m. Will you give us a COVID test? We're calling him tomorrow.
No, just go to see. You can do it. You can get an appointment online with CVS. This is how I did it.
Yeah,
They
there's no
send.
appointment required up here. You just get in line.
Oh,
Did you do the 24-hour test?
no, I did the 2 to 5 days.
Ugh, we're gonna try to do a 24-hour test. Anyway, back. Okay, he should buy a new car. He wants a Toyota
Yes.
Tacoma. He wants a Toyota Tacoma with 4x4. But he said he was also looking at a Subaru Outback, and the reason he looked at the Subaru Outback is because the Tacoma doesn't come with brown leather. And if he wants the TRD trim, not the TRD Pro package, the TRD trim, you don't really get leather. I'm pretty sure in that.
Your brother is the most frustrating car buyer to me, and is why I could never sell cars.
This is the most frustrating car buyer. Oh my god, dude. He's like medium. He's like not even halfway to the like stressor of like.
I have the perfect car, but it doesn't come with some superficial details, so I can't have it.
Well, you have to also remember this next car he's gonna buy, right? It will be his second car.
God,
Yeah, I mean he bought this. He
God.
got this Jeep from my parents in 2013.
Pull up my
Oh well, he
spreadsheet.
did have a Mercedes C class, but when he relocated to Long Beach, he only had that. He basically never had that C class. Um, let's see. So, you know what website I always like to use for locating a car? Have you ever
Cars
used
and bids.
what?
Cars and bids.
No, never that one. I'm not gonna bid on. Hey, good news, Sam. I have a really easy way for you to locate your next vehicle. Are you familiar with auto auctions, specifically online auto auctions?
Everybody's favorite, cars and bids.
Ugh. I wonder how that's doing. It's Demuro, so if it fails, he'll probably never admit it that it failed.
Yeah,
Is that Hoovy?
probably. Why
That is
not?
fucking Hoovy. Hoovy is on the cover of Auto Tempest.
I've always preferred car gurus.
Oh, I bet they're pulling. Oh my god, I bet they're pulling data now on Auto Tempest from Cars and Bids
Hilarious.
because they're doing True Car, and I think that's like Hoovy used to write for True Car. These guys just emulate Top Gear. They just emulate fucking Top Gear. Anyway, all right. So I use Auto Tempest
Bring
to
it trailers
find.
on this now? Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, they're probably doing it for Bring a Trailer. Matt Farrow was all about this website. He is literally the person that got me into it. I genuinely like. Let's see. Or 034. That's Oklahoma.
I'm
Let's
in
do
Oklahoma.
within five. Are you really? Let's do within 500 miles. And let's do advanced search. We are looking for four-wheel drive. I'm not even going to put. I'm not even going to put uh, manual in here because they'll all be automatic. Good God.
Jesus Christ.
They hold their value so fucking well, dude. It's so crazy. 2015 Toyota Tacoma with 73,917 miles on it in Tulsa.
Fucking disgusting.
$29,000.
That's so much goddamn money.
It's a Tacoma.
You could buy a F-150 with half as many miles for that much.
But it's a Ford. He doesn't want anything that big. And I'm like, look, man, they're all fucking big. I mean, this truck isn't that much smaller than a F-150. It definitely drives a little bit smaller.
$46,000.
That is a TRD Pro though. That's the off-roady bouncy bounce.
That one has a fucking snorkel.
Does it?
Roll up.
Yeah, it does. Ooh, baby.
Oh my god, it has a fucking snorkel.
That's so fucking cool, dude.
Oh my god.
It is so
Somebody,
fucking cool.
somebody bought this, did a bunch of stupid dumb shit to it, and
No,
then
that's
immediately sold it
factory.
to Carvana.
That's factory. That's the
Is it?
TRD Pro comes with a snorkel. I'm
Fuck that
pretty
then.
sure.
Well, where are the snorkels on all these other ones?
Huh? Because there's the TRD and then there's the TRD Pro.
God, I hate this. I hate this so much.
It might be a manual, actually. That's
Nope.
auto. I'll take a picture of it and send it to him.
Why don't you? Jesus Christ.
Huh?
I hate people who take pictures of screens.
Yeah, well, I'm on a PC for the first time forever, and I don't really want to figure out emailing it. If I had iMessage, I'd just screenshot it, but I don't. So I don't have Google Hangouts. It doesn't work yet. I don't have it set up.
You make me sad, son.
I know. I'll get into PCs because it's apparent that my MacBook's not going to work anymore. All right, so there's a Tacoma right there. There's a 2019. Here's a Tacoma TRD Pro without a snorkel. Maybe it doesn't come with a snorkel. Maybe factory. So yeah, he's going to be spending around $40,000 to $45,000 on one of these cars.
Oh my god.
Ugh.
I cannot imagine spending more money on my Civic Type R
For a
on
truck.
on a nothing truck.
It's not a nothing truck. It's probably one of the best trucks out there. It's a Tacoma.
I guess. What year is Blake's Tacoma?
2012.
Okay, good. I bought that dude some headlight bulbs because his are out. His are both out.
Did you tell him?
And yeah, I sent them to him.
Oh, he hadn't put them in then.
Yeah, no, I know. I asked him if he wanted some help, and he said, "No, yeah, I'll just do it. Don't worry about it. It'll be
He'll
thanks,
never
man."
fucking do it.
I know.
He'll forget.
I know.
Just go over there and be like, "Where are those headlight bulbs? Let me do that right now." Okay.
That sounds great. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, why not? I wasn't picking. I miss him so much.
I have he invited me to something this past weekend, and I said no because I wasn't sure I didn't have plague.
Oh, was it
But
the 2019? Oh, was it the um fuck? Was it the Halloween thing?
no, that is yet to come, and we are definitely going to that. What did he invite me to? It was like just some hangout. They were just like at a brewery or something, and they said, "Hey, we got this table here. Do you want to come?" And I said no because I thought maybe I'd plague. But when Blake invited me to go do something, it was then I knew that I was in.
Oh, yeah, dude. I know Blake and his girlfriend really like hang out with other couples.
Oh yeah,
Face,
they do.
send me this.
I can't see
Damn
it
it!
because
It's a picture. He zoomed in on the snorkel and he just said snurkle. That's his response.
are you and your brother the same person?
A little bit. Snurkle. But look at this. Look at these Ford F-150s. 2017 with 44,000 miles on it. It's a platinum. It's 47.9.
That's absolutely disgusting.
2018 King Ranch 53 with only 25,000. I could get that. I mean, that's in Colorado. Ah, Clarence. Daisy has one of those balls. God, she loves it. She really likes Daisy's favorite thing in the whole world is an empty milk carton.
Yeah, time was Clarence loved those.
Yeah, she fucking loves them. She loves any like plastic bottle. If I have a can in my hand, she tries to knock it out of my hands and eat it. Like cans, like metal cans, glass Topo bottles. Yeah, F-150s are really expensive too. But the other car he said he wanted was a Subaru Outback. I'm going to be really honest. I'm not a big Subaru guy because I think like I just don't like them. I mean, they're good cars.
They're very slow. They're
They're
very,
very, very
very
slow.
slow.
They're
They're
very,
very slow.
but they have torque and they have standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. And you can't even find one. Subaru Outback. Oh, truck. Oh, look at this. I want this. 2005 Subaru Outback 2.5 all-wheel drive four-door wagon.
Does have lots of rust under.
Maybe. I forget. Sometimes I gotta forget that I'm not. I'm in the Midwest now. It snows here.
Is it manual? No. Who gives a
No,
shit?
I don't know. I like it. 2019 2.5 H4. God, he would hate this fucking car. Maybe he would. He didn't care about going fast, but he's gonna miss like the. He's gonna miss his Jeep. You know, here's what I think he should really get. I think he should get a um, RAV4.
No. You should get a you should get a fucking CRV because it's a Honda and it's better.
A CRV. Ugh. Well, I mean, it's not much different.
Honda.
He just wants something with all-wheel drive.
He wants a Honda.
I like the looks of these cars. I really like the little CHR. I like the way those look, but I don't think
Oh,
they're
those are ass. Those are awful,
they're
awful,
awful,
awful.
awful cars. But I think they look really good. They're slow as hell. They have bad engines. They have shitty transmissions. They're like a total miss for Toyota. But man, I think they look fucking cool. So he's looking at if he buys a Jeep. Or you know what? Wild card here. I have an idea. I know this isn't going to be the best idea, but hear me out.
Okay. I'm listening.
The cheap Tacoma, the Chevy Colorado. Well, Jesus Christ,
Ooh,
even
that's
these are like 40 grand. What the fuck? Oh, that's ZR2. That's the
trucks are
beefy.
expensive right now.
These are all ZR2s. ZR Z71. Oh god, man, I'd buy this. Holy fuck.
Trucks are expensive.
There's a lot of ZR2s out there. Holy shit. I could never find these in Austin. There's an LT. That's like the two. That's the
But that one is in Austin. Go back. There you are, right there.
80
Z71
Texas.
Austin.
Yeah, Z71 Austin. 24.9. That's interesting. If it doesn't have a shitload of miles on it, it's way below value. Oh, it's a
2000.
2015. It's like the first. It's the first year model.
So
There's gonna be a lot of tech missing. I don't even think it has a backup camera. No, it does. They all have to have backup cameras.
I would rather get a last gen with the 5-cylinder
I don't
because it
think
has a
this is
fucking
real.
5-cylinder.
I don't think the Suzuki one. I like the Ford Ranger, but man, the reviews are just terrible. I just think it looks cool. I'm gonna tell him to take a look at the Chevy Colorado. Um, I'm not a big GM guy though, but I do appreciate a good truck. This dude's gonna need a new fucking car. Well, anyway, I think like these are the cars my brother
You should
wants.
actually get a Honda Ridgeline.
Oh god,
He is the he is literally the target demographic.
He is literally the target demographic for the Honda Ridgeline. He's a college professor in the making. I mean, like he is literally. Let's take a look at Honda Ridgelines. I don't see a lot of those around.
Yeah, because like nobody wants a Honda Odyssey truck.
It's not an Odyssey, it's a Pilot, right?
I mean, 6 of one, half dozen of another.
Good point. Ew, the
That's a first
14.
gen. Yeah, you don't want a first gen. The first gens are shitty.
2018 Black Edition. That's like pretty full, well loaded.
Yeah, that is the high trim with blackout.
Yeah.
Like if you don't need a truck to do truck things except like haul mulch, the Ridgeline is really good. Like if you need to haul like your fishing boat, and your mulch and go to the big game, the Ridgeline is genuinely perfect.
Sam needs to haul boxes
Uh-huh.
once every year.
Uh-huh. Well, there you go. He needs a Honda Ridgeline.
I don't even know if he needs a truck.
He needs a Honda Ridgeline. Like I think I know so I don't know your brother at all, but I know your brother and he
Yeah.
wants a truck. And so what he actually needs is a Honda Ridgeline because it is a truck in appearance only and it's not actually a truck.
Yeah, honestly, I like this thing because I secretly want. He just said no.
So what? A
The
Ridgeline?
Ridgeline. He said absolutely not.
Fuck that guy. What does he know?
He knows that the Ridgeline is not really a truck. I want an El
But,
Camino.
but he doesn't need a truck.
Let's look at El Camino. He doesn't need a truck, but he wants a truck. And there's something to be said about getting the car you want, not the car you need. But unfortunately, given current circumstances, he kind of needs to compromise. He really wants a Tacoma. If he wasn't going to be driving on the freeway all the time, I'd probably say go ahead and get it.
Okay.
Let's take a look.
Take a look. It's in a book. The Reading Rainbow.
No. What filter did I include? Oh, four-wheel drive. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. There you go. 87 El Camino, 4.3 liter. I love these cars. It's perfect for like a single guy. You know, it's just like it's 2 seats and a truck bed. What more do you need? $6,500. This thing would fucking leave me stranded on the side of the road
Every single day.
every day. Every time I would never be able to use it. This is not that in good shape. My first girlfriend in high school had a blue on blue 88 El Camino. It's a 59 El Camino
That's not a
for
fun.
110 grand. Here's a 70 El Camino for 60 grand. 67 El Camino big block for 35. It's got
I'll give you a big cock.
give you a big block. 1970 El Camino, great colors. That's the one to get, but I'm not gonna. I want the 80s one. Let's be honest. There you go. 84 El Camino with 305 V8 3-speed. Oh, this is. Oh, look at this. God damn, dude. Look at that. It's brown. It's regular car
Oh
brown.
my goodness.
Ugh.
I bet this is the slowest fucking car in the world.
Oh, yeah. But it's still cool as hell.
A 305 V8 with a, what's that, a 2-speed automatic, 3-speed?
3-speed. Beige tan, 305 V8, 3-speed automatic.
I bet that makes like 112 horsepower.
Oh, not even. Maybe 100.
Conquista.
Face doesn't like the Outback or doesn't like the Ridgeline because it's too bulbous. It looks like a child's toy.
Is he talking about the first gen or the second gen? I bet
The
he's
one
talking
I
about the
just
first
showed
gen.
him.
Oh. I mean, he's wrong, but okay.
I don't think that one looks too bulbous. I mean, this looks like a minivan. I can't believe they made the El Camino for almost 30 years. People are like, it was such a short existence of a car. I'm like, no, it existed from 1959 to 1989. It was around for 30 years. He says the Outback looks way better than a Ridgeline. Like, ugh.
I hate your brother so much.
God. Whatever, we'll fix him. I think we've both decided though for him he needs to get rid of that Jeep.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a shame because I was always a fan of the way that drove. I mean, I think it's got the wrong engine in it, but I like Jeep Grand Cherokees. I don't think they're very good cars, but I enjoy driving them. I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck about anything.
I don't fuck about any of this shit. Let's take a look at this. Boo. Look at the new M3. Proof that they're huffing paint over in Stuttgart. I'm sorry, Bavaria. Whatever. Any thoughts, Brandon, or you just genuinely don't care about how ugly this BMW is?
I saw the 3 Series already. It's ugly as fuck. This is exactly as ugly. So I don't give a shit.
Look at the interior, though. Have you seen it?
No, go back.
Look.
What is this?
Yes. Look at it.
What
It's
what have they
yellow
done
and
to my
blue and black
boy?
and carbon fiber.
What have they done to my boy, my
Um,
sweet baby
my
boy?
sweet boy. They killed him. They killed my boy. I've abandoned
Oh
my
my
child.
oh my god, this car is fucking hideous.
Oh, it's so bad.
It looks
Oh,
so bad. And the worst part is it doesn't have to look this bad. Like if those kidneys weren't so goddamn enormous.
oh God, it gets worse. It
It's
gets
just
so
such an
much worse.
it's just such an ugly fucking car.
I saw a picture of the green one today. Oh, it's so bad.
Who is supposed to like this?
I don't know. See, that's the thing is like this isn't just like one of those things where it's like, oh, it's weird looking, but maybe like a Lexus where it's like, oh, it's weird looking, but maybe people like it. Look at it. Look at that.
No,
Look at that. This
no,
is universally unappealing.
nobody likes those fucking spindle girl Lexus. I thought maybe they'd grow on me. They have never grown on me. They look like shit.
The RC 350 has grown on me. The LC 500 is really nice. I think the LC 500 is
No, it looks like shit.
gorgeous. I
It looks
love
like
it.
shit. It looks like it looks like a shitty predator mouth.
I don't know. They did it right on the LC 500.
No, it looks like shit. This looks like shit.
You have to do math on this car to drive it. Like, oh my God.
This looks awful. I hate it so much.
Ugh.
It looks like a fake Grand Theft Auto car.
It really, yeah, it does. You hit the fucking nail on the head, dude. This fucking looks like, okay, here's the M3. This, I think, is the M4. Okay, yeah, that was the M4. This is the M3. You ready for the interior of this car?
Yeah.
It looks like there was an accident at a candy factory. It's so bad. It's so fucking bad. And I know like all we're doing right now is like super unproductive. We're just like shitting on this car, which will probably drive great. It'll probably blow the doors off of everything else in its
I
class.
drive. I have one of the most ostentatious cars that you can buy today, sitting in my garage, and it does not look like half as much shit as this car.
I mean, it's still yours is still a Honda though.
Yeah, but like for all of the shit people give my car about looking like a Gundam and looking like a boy racer car,
At least yours
this
doesn't look like
is
shit.
so much worse. This is so much worse.
It's bad design. It really is bad design.
I
It's
think the
just
back looks really good.
yeah, that's like saying the back of an ugly prostitute's head looks better than her face though. I mean, like,
I like this. I like the way this back looks. I think this is a nice modern update of
uh,
what BMW's been going for.
I
I
feel
like
that
they got
way
rid of
about
that.
the M4, I guess. That looks okay. That looks good.
Yeah, that looks great. Just like never look at the car head on or look at the inside of it.
But to think, I
You know
mean,
what? That
like
looks like a Honda Accord. That looks like a Honda Accord coupe.
yeah, it does. They all look like that though. But like, how much is this car really going to be? I don't think. Um, like, how much is this car really going to be? $70,000. Starts at 70 grand.
Oh my
Somebody is going to
god.
start at
Oh
70
my
grand for
god.
this.
Do you want 2 Honda Civic Type R's or one of these ugly pieces of shit?
Or would you rather have and hang with me on this? All right, 7.
Plants is
This.
fading in and out of existence.
Look what you could also have for not much more money.
That looks so much better.
This is still to this day, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, but like, I used to be like Mercedes all the way, Audi second, BMW like a distant fourth after Porsche. I'm Audi number one is my number one favorite German luxury brand now. Probably my number one favorite luxury brand at this moment in terms of just making good looking cars. Mercedes don't look that good anymore.
No.
BMWs are trash. Lexus is just too old to notice, and Acura doesn't count, and Infiniti doesn't count. And Jaguar is a thing apparently.
They still
This
sell
is just
cars?
gorgeous. Oh yeah, Jaguar. Yeah, this is just fucking gorgeous. Yes, it's
That looks so
ostentatious
good.
as hell, but my god, this
It's
right
kind of nice
now.
though.
Except you have to be this man if you drive one.
Right.
Jeans and a sport coat with a hat only granddad wears.
And those green fucking sneakers. Can we talk about how ugly those sneakers are?
Yeah. Ugh.
I hate this guy so much.
This is like
Is
your
this
typical like European like Audi dude though. It's
is
like
that is this
this
the
is my
you
motto.
keep scrolling past that. Stop scrolling past. I want to make fun of this guy.
He's trying to zoom.
Don't zoom me.
He's probably the PR guy. So he's like either like, look sporty, Klaus. Okay, I can wear my Levi's. Oh,
Welcome
it's my
to
auto
our
shoes.
photo shoot.
Mhm.
Stands in front of the camera.
Don't
I
you
would love.
wish your girlfriend was hot like smees? I'm
I
just.
I love when I spend $160,000 on a car and I don't get fog lights. Instead, I get fog light blank plates.
No, they have fog lights.
Do they?
The fog lights are integrated into the headlights.
How does that work?
The fog lights are just down here.
I don't understand that. That doesn't make any sense to me. But
They
okay.
have the laser headlight thing. I don't. You're gonna have to ask Pitts.
Oh.
See
They
that
have the
blue thing
laser.
right there?
They have the laser headlight thing that we're not allowed to have in America.
Yes, actually, that's a good point. Will we get fog lights? Because this is very much the European model. Is this out yet? Man, now I wish Charles was our guest. He sells these goddamn things. There's the shoes again. Oh, hello. There is room in the back. See?
Welcome into the back. This is where you put the poor people.
I am 1,802 centahexons, or as you American calls it, 5'9".
That looks so goddamn small. I would love to spend $160,000 on a car to poor people in my backseat.
Well, you could just get the RS6 then. I mean, it's the same car. It has a better back seat. The interior, that's so nice.
That is really nice.
God, I love Audi. It has those Bang & Olufsen pop-up things. These cars were always just so nice to fucking drive, and you just like always felt like people always compare this thing to like the Hellcat Charger, and they're like, "Well, why would you spend that much money on a car when you could have this?"
I
I'm
don't
like,
want a piece of
yeah,
shit.
because I'm not poor. I'm not fucking poor. I'm not gross. I am money. I am
Hellcats.
the money. I'm Tom Hardy. I
As someone
love
who has
Tom
never
Hardy.
ridden in a Hellcat or driven one, but sat in one, they do not seem expensive.
No, they're rental car. They're muscle cars. Muscle cars are all based on like take a cheap car and just stick a fucking big engine in it.
That
There's some
backseat looks
engineering to it.
fucking miserable.
Yeah,
That
it's
looks
not so
so
bad.
small. That looks so small.
It's not so bad.
That looks awful.
It's not great.
So
But
the
see,
RS7 is like the RS6 but worse.
it's the four-door coupe version of the RS6, and then there's the RS6 Avant, which is the greatest car in the entire world.
I hate like everything about the phrase four-door coupe is deeply offensive to me.
It truly is, but it's a real segment. It's really just for millionaire dads who need daily drivers.
Is this the one that has a hatchback?
This is the RS6
No,
Avant.
I'm talking about the RS7. I
Yeah, it
don't
has
do
what it's called a Sportback. Yeah,
Okay,
it's like
I'm
an
back on board.
Arteon or a Kia Stinger.
Okay, I'm back on board. I'm back on
Yeah,
board.
so I mean, like, it's brilliant. Audi number one, Audi forever. I love Audi and Volkswagen.
Well, I'm gonna have to talk to my friend Charles Fenner about an attractive lease rate on an RS6.
Yeah, actually, I'm sure it's like $800.
I mean, that's not much less than I'm paying for my Civic.
You're
That's
financing your
more.
Civic though,
Yeah, that's true.
and this car is about twice the price of your Civic.
I cut a check for $704.09 every month.
This car is.
That's for the Avant TDI.
Is this a
You can just
TDI?
go. No, they're saying S6 Avant TDI. You can just look at the MSRP on Audi USA right now.
Okay, Brandon.
Yeah, James, it's your podcast. Get your shit together.
I'm working on it. It's only episode 3. There's the
0%.
A6. Oh yeah, you get 0% on anything right now.
On anything?
Anything, any fucking thing, anything.
So if I go in there and say, I have a job making money, I have no down payment, give me an RS6 Avant.
What's your credit score?
It's like
Is it higher than
812.
800?
Yeah.
And yeah, you get 0% financing on that car. I'm not kidding.
Ooh, that sounds pretty good. That does sound pretty good. I totally don't need one, but
The Q3 is garbage. The Q5 is actually
what if
pretty cool.
what if I get what if I
Dude, they have an SQ7 now.
I don't give
That
a
is
shit.
pretty nice.
I don't give a fuck. What if I traded in my Civic on RS6
Do it. You'd probably get what you paid for on that Civic.
Avant?
Do
Yeah,
it.
but I would trade. I would straight up sell my Civic and get a lease, because I would never ever trade
You
in
should
on a lease.
absolutely get a lease. There's no low end. There's no incentives right now on leasing though.
Well, then I would never do this.
I mean, 0% APR is about the best you could. Okay, so A6 All Road, A6 Avant, RS6 Avant starts at $109,000.
Okay, that's less than I was expecting.
The RS7 is 114.
Oh, I get less car for more money. Great.
No, you get more car.
How is that more car?
Actually, it's the same car. It's the same car except it has less vertical headspace.
Oh, that sounds great. I get less car for more money.
Why, Brandon, for all your friends that you're going to put in the back seat?
Yeah, all my friends that I put in the back seat of my fucking.
It's clearance. You're going to have to buy the RS6. You could buy an S6 sedan for 74. That's probably what I would. That's probably where the smart
No,
money is, to be honest with you.
no,
The tits,
no.
the Audi tits, right here. Here's the tits. Here's the
I don't want
titters.
tits. I don't want it. I don't want tits. I don't want titters. I have a car that's better than the titters in my garage right now.
Dude, R8.
No, I don't want a fucking R8.
Get a used R8.
No, I'm good, thanks.
Get a fucking used R8 at 0%.
I'm good, thanks.
Certified
I'm good, thanks.
pre-owned. I love that car.
What is Carvana gonna pay me for my Civic Type R?
Oh my God, tell me right now.
Here, let me share my screen. Host disabled attendee screen sharing.
I'm gonna do it. Hold on a second.
Thanks, James.
Participants, Brandon Forrester, Mona.
Thanks, James.
I think if you share this, I don't know if I think it'll still record.
I'm host now.
Yeah, it's still recording. You now have permissions.
Oh no.
What?
Because I'm on a Mac. Zoom doesn't have permission, and I'd have to quit it. So we're not going to do that. All right, I'm going to give host back to you, and you are going to
go to Carvana and type in your VIN number.
That's right. Exactly what we're gonna do.
All right, it's worth it for the.
I sent you my VIN number in the chat. My vehicle identification number.
Your vehicle identification number. All
yeah.
right. All right, so I got to. Oh, can I get to the chat? Oh, chat. There it is. All right. So Tavar. Carvana. Carvana. Bye. All right. So here's what we want to do. We want to sell/trade.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go ahead and do VIN on this recorded podcast.
Who cares? I don't care.
I have to buy a car you want to sell.
Mileage?
Mileage?
13,000. No, there is no personal information you can glean from knowing which Type R I own.
You have a white.
It is automatic.
Speed. It's not an automatic.
Not according to Carvana.
Okay. You have the ABS 4-wheel, traction control, alarm system, cruise control, air conditioning, hill start assist, push button start power. You have all that shit, right?
There are no options on a Type R.
But yeah, this is all what's standard.
Yeah.
Do you have fog lights?
Yeah, they all have fog lights.
Do you have alloy wheels or premium wheels?
There are no optional wheels.
Alloy wheels. Next. No accidents. Does your vehicle have any issues? Nope. Does your vehicle have any? Nope. Are there any modifications to your vehicle? Nope.
Nope.
Does your vehicle have any exterior damage?
Nope.
Nope. Does your vehicle have any interior damage beyond the normal wear and tear? Nope.
Nope.
No smoky smoke. What is the condition of your vehicle? Pretty great. How many keys do you have? 2+. Do you have a loan? Yes. Loan.
No, because like if you want to put anything, put
Neither.
in that.
Neither.
Yeah.
And my email address. Get fucked. $30,000. Not bad.
Not so bad.
That's a total trade-in value. Would
Well, no,
probably be around 32.
they're including their sales tax savings, which is a bullshit number.
Well, a dealership will probably give you that.
Yeah, but I wouldn't trade it in, right?
Well, why not? Trade it in for a lease.
No.
They're just gonna roll. You could write a check for the negative equity to your lender.
No,
Why not?
because when you roll into a lease, you're putting a down payment on the lease.
No, you don't have to roll it into a lease. I'm saying
Oh, you're
trade it
saying,
in and write a check for the difference. Roll nothing into the lease.
and the dealership just cuts me a check.
No. You give them a check that they give to the lender, or you just write that check when
Then what happens to the $30,000?
The $30,000 the dealership sends to the lender.
Oh, right. Yes. Okay. And we're just paying off my loan.
They pay off the loan so they can sell that car for a profit.
Okay. And I owe less than that, so I would get a check for like $100.
So you owe less than that?
Yeah.
So the dealership's going to want to basically take that as a down payment towards the lease.
No.
Yeah, but if
I would never put money down on a lease. That's the one thing I have learned.
Well, here's
from
what you should.
things.
Here's what you should do.
Yeah, we're not doing any of this, by the way. But
right, but here's what you
for our
should.
viewers at home.
Yes, take the L. Just be like, give me my payoff for this car, and I will lease your vehicle. Just say that. Just like, this is how much I owe on my car. If you make me even on it, I will lease your vehicle today. After you've negotiated price, and they show you a payment of what it would look like on your car. So you get the payments. And you're like, good news, Mr. Forrester. If you want to lease this RS6, it's going to be $799 a month for a 36-month, 12,000 mile a year lease. Is there anything preventing you today from moving forward with this, or can we go ahead and wrap it up for you? Then you say, there's one thing I owe. I don't want to have two cars. I owe a lot of money on my Civic. If you take a look at my Civic Type R and you make me clean on that note, I will lease this car today. And they will, because you now know that this car is worth more than your payoff. You won't get that $120, but you'll get an RS6.
Yeah,
that's what I would do. It's only $100, and you're going to have to pay that in processing fees anyway, and that's going to roll into the lease.
Yeah. No, I know. The one thing I've read is do not put any money on a lease, because the whole point of a lease is that when it's done, you walk away
with nothing. Yeah, or I don't like to ever say you walk away with nothing, because you can buy that lease out, which is dumb.
There is value in driving the car for 2 years, but on the day you return the lease back, you just walk away. You're done now.
Well, you can always if you lease that car in good faith, you can always bring that car back and then lease another car that it's a little bit newer, and maybe keep your payment right around the same.
Yeah, sure, but the point is, like I'm not one of those people who's like, you get nothing out of a lease, because there is definitely value in the driving of the car, but the whole point of the lease is that once it's over, we're done. We move on. So if you put money in and you drive it off and you walk out of the car and it gets hit by a meteor, all your down payment's gone too.
Gap insurance is included.
Yeah, but that gap makes you whole in the car. It doesn't get your $5,000 back.
Hold on for a second. My parents are going to bed.
Oh. Well, yeah,
But you're exactly right. I mean, like, you're right. You're 100% right.
you don't roll positive equity in a lease.
Ever. You're right. It's dumb. Now, if somebody comes in with like it's flush with cash and they're like, I want this car, but it has to be at this payment, then the answer is like you're gonna have to put money down on a lease because
Yeah,
that's it.
sure. Yeah, sure.
That's why it's not called a down payment. It's a cap cost reduction.
There's a funny word for everything, isn't there?
Yes, because they can't call it a down payment because they can't pay for something they don't own.
Right.
So they're just reducing the cost of the vehicle. And if somebody's ever smart enough to ask me, well, what do you mean? Like, how am I reducing the cost of the vehicle? I'm like, you're paying me to reduce it for you. Like, that's what the money's for. Yeah, but you're right. I mean, leasing a car protects you against so much because I love these beautiful cars that you and I just looked at, but they're not reliable. I mean, like, God, horror stories, more mechanical horror stories come from my time at Audi than any other
I
dealership.
want to hear him. I want to hear him.
Like, there was this one guy, he was super cool. He's one of these, like, sort of like fit 50-year-old dudes where he, like, uses words like, yeah, you're a pretty cool cat, James, thanks for the sweet deal on my ride, like,
Hell
kind of
yeah.
guy. And he's like an engineer though, so he's just
Yeah.
like, he totally equated like, the more money I have, the cooler I am.
The
And
natural progression.
yeah, and like, he really was a cool guy. But we sold him this SQ5. He came to the dealership like 3 times and it was like, it's for my wife. We bonded over cars. He was a huge car guy. He loved muscle cars. I love muscle cars. He loved Porsches. I love Porsches. We bonded over this shit. And like, he comes to the dealership, he picks out an SQ5, but he doesn't like the red interior. So he's like, well, you got to find me one with a black interior. And we're like, we don't have one in our pipeline. We don't have one at the sister store. So we had to order this guy an SQ5, and it's like, it's going to be like a month and a half before it gets here. And he goes, you know what? It's a big purchase, but I'm willing to wait. I'll put the down payment on. And basically, when somebody says, I'm not going to pick up my car till next month, I stop listening. I'm just like, give me the money. And then, like, don't call me. I'll call you when it's here. Because now I know I'm not selling you a car till next month.
Yeah.
But at least I'm selling you a car.
Yeah.
But I'm done wasting my time with you. I mean, I'm sorry, like, you're a nice guy, but now I have to go find somebody to sell a car to because
I have to go make some money.
I have to go make money now. Bye bye. So this guy gets his car finally. We're in touch. I'm calling him about once a week just to, let him know this is the smart thing to do with your customers who like have something on order. Call them once a week and just be like, it's on its way. There's nothing wrong. I'll let you know when it's here, even if they're like, thanks. I wasn't
Meanwhile, you
worried.
know absolutely nothing.
Really, I mean, all you know is what the computer says, and it says in transit.
Yeah.
And Volkswagens and Audis, here's the shitty thing: they get stuck at the port all the fucking time because the fucking like inspectors, the government inspectors, hate Volkswagen after Dieselgate. So they just like are just like, we gotta take a look at the cars, we gotta double test them, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. So they get delayed all the fucking time. This guy's car comes in, he drives it off, we deliver it. He's super happy. He bought some products, we gave him a hat. Good job. His wife fucking blown away. A week goes by. There's like a smell in the car, and he's like, I'm worried because it really smells metallic. I'm like,
Come on by. We got people for this.
yeah, like, come on by. I mean, maybe it's something metallic. I don't know. He's like, well, have you heard of this before? Because I was doing some research on the internet, and as soon as he says, I'm like, oh fuck, no. And he's
I
like,
lost him.
there's a component, a subcomponent near the intake above the radiator, but below the plastic mounting, there are 5 screws. And I'm just like, oh, are there? Wow, I didn't know that.
There's screws.
There's screws, and he's like, those screws are made out of a composite that's made out of the following elements. And I'm like, dude, look, like, that is super interesting, and I hope you share that to your service advisor because they're going to know a hell of a lot more about that than I am. And he came
You're
in.
not buying a car, are you? Ooh,
No, he
I'm
bought
sorry.
the
I gotta
car.
go.
He bought the
No,
car.
that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't want to buy a new one. Ooh, I'm sorry. I gotta go. Let me put you in touch with our service advisor.
This gets so much worse. He comes in. They look at the car, and they're like, "Oh, something was loose," and it was like this big chunk of metal was just like loose in like above the radiator.
Very
Hadn't
good.
been
Yeah.
bolted in. They think that it got like messed up in transit, but it's not part of the PDI. That's post delivery inspection. They
Yeah.
don't look that thoroughly at the car. They look thoroughly at the car, but they don't take like a fucking like microscope and make sure
Right.
every seam is the same
Oh, all
size.
the wheels are there.
Yeah, all the wheels are there. Um, yeah, there's so many things that happen in PDI, but like, okay, so this guy takes it back and like he's like, okay, listen, I love this car. But if there's another issue like this, I don't know what we're gonna do about it. I'm like, look, man, if there's another issue like this, we'll figure it out. I promise I'm not gonna just like abandon you. He's like, that's good to know because I've had bad experiences in the past. And he's like, I'll be honest, I never told you this, but I had an Audi in the 90s and it was not a good experience. I'm like, well, lots changed, sir. I promise you, we've definitely increased our ability to make a good car. We don't have our thumbs up our asses, I promise you. He goes back, and it's like 2 weeks later, he comes back in and he just walks up to my desk, and I just see it in his fucking face. I'm like, what's up? And he's just like, well, my car broke down. And I'm like, it broke down? And he goes, yeah, it overheated on the side of the road and it won't start. I'm like, whoa, really? And he's like, Audi roadside assistance towed me in here. And now your service advisor is telling me you don't have a loan car for me. I was like, well, that's just not true, sir. I'm going to make sure you get a loan car. I'm sorry about this inconvenience. So I go to my boss and I'm like, you got to give this guy a fucking loan car because his survey's not back yet. Like, you got to give him a fucking loan car. And my boss is just like, what happened? I'm like, his car exploded. They're like, is that the SQ5 guy? And I'm like, yeah, he's back. It blew up. And they're like, okay, I'm gonna go talk to
It's
him.
been
I mean,
wait, wait. Hold on, let me. It's been like 3 weeks, right?
it's been like three. It hasn't even been a month since he took the car that he ordered,
So this
and
is
he's.
not like this fucker, drove to California and back 4 times and missed 3 oil changes. It's been three
It's been
weeks.
3 weeks on a brand new from the factory SQ5.
Yeah,
And they're just like, okay, here's what really happened, and he never admitted it, but here's what really happened. Basically, my manager goes out there and talks to him, and he's like, okay, I want you to go find a well-loaded Q5 that's in a color we're not going to sell. I want you to wash it and gas it up. And we're going to give him that car while this happens. And we're just going to have to BVA. BVA is borrow vehicle agreement.
yeah,
Um, our dealership was so small that we ran out of loan cars all the time. And he showed up at like
sure.
4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're just out of loan cars.
Yeah,
But because it's a heat, it's slowly becoming a heat case. It's slowly becoming a problem.
yeah,
And the manager talked to him like, I'm so sorry, this is not the Audi way. And I found him a car. He got in a car, and I'm like, look, I'm very sorry. I'm gonna be on this every day. But right now I really don't know what the issue is. We're gonna take care of it for you. It's obviously under warranty. Here is a car to drive. Put miles on it. You have to tell him that, like, just give me a copy of your insurance. He drives off. He's not too happy, but he's being extremely reasonable.
yeah.
Because he knows it's not
Right.
our fault, but he knows
Yeah,
we have to fix it.
I remember being literally this guy when my Civic Type R lost all power and I had to get towed to the dealership, and I
That's pretty
found
much
out.
happened to him, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
But I don't know why your Civic Type R lost all power, but I know why his SQ5 lost all power. Um, I went to straight to the mechanic. I didn't talk to the service manager really. I talked to the parts guy. I talked to the service advisor. The service manager has no clue what he's doing at that place. He's not even there anymore. Um, but I went to the tech, and the tech was like, "Man, this dude drove the piss out of this car." Like, really? He goes, yeah, look at these fucking tires. And there was like really early wear and tear. This guy was like doing like solemns in this car. And I was like, is there a break in period for these things? And he goes, no, not technically. I mean, it's supposed to be able to handle this shit. But like, he was just fucking like going 120 miles an hour in this fucking thing and just hitting the brakes. And, you know, was like, do you think he did that when he was fucking doing like it overheated on him? And he's like, well, he came in at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Probably not. I mean, like, it's broad daylight. He's not going to
yeah,
just be on the freeway doing a buck 50 at like 3 p.m. So
yeah.
like, you can't just go to, because he didn't hit anything. And
Right.
there's no like log on there that says this was the top speed at this time, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
We can't get that information and use it against a customer. Um, but basically, this guy liked cars. He drove this thing like a sports car in the middle of fucking August in South Texas, and it just overheated.
yeah.
And when he did that, they were like, we got to get the oscilloscope out, and like we got to stick our like things down in the engine and
Horoscope.
oroscope, whatever, and we got to take
Horoscope.
more scope,
Bore. Bore.
bore scope. They took the well, they did their science shit, and they were like, 2 days later, they were finally like, "You want to see something awful?" And I was like, "Please tell me it's not about Mister Car Guy's car." And he was like, "Yeah, fucking yeah." And he shows me the inside of the block, and he shows me this like cylinder two, and it's just, see this crack going down the sidewall. And I'm like, "Oh, you can't fix that, can you?" And he said, "This engine's done, and it's 3 weeks old." Like, this is a $84,000 car. No, it was like 64. It was an SQ5. It was a
Yeah.
premium plus SQ5, and it was just done. He cracked the fucking like cylinders, and I'm like, how this fuck? And he's like, this is this is the tech talk. He's like, you're just gonna have to tell your boss, dude. Like, we gotta replace this engine, and it's on Audi. And this happens to every car, and when it does, you have to get a call. You have to get an engine from Audi,
Yeah.
and that takes months. That takes
Yeah.
longer than ordering a car. And so we had to have like a round table with the service manager, the service advisor, my boss, the general manager, and James, did you pick this car? I'm like, no, we factory ordered it. And it was just like, this just problem just opened up from the skies. Like, it just happened. There was no reason why. It just happened to us. And,
And like you just fell back on like I never touched this car. We didn't pick this car. We didn't get this car. It got off the boat and into it and into his driveway.
I didn't even have to call them again because my boss was like, you're not going to talk to this man again unless he talks to you. General manager is going to talk to him, and then Audi is going to call him. So corporate Audi had to call him. Then my general manager was like, okay, I'm going to have a conversation with your customer, and then you and I are going to debrief on your lunch break. And I was like, debrief? Okay, wow. And they were like, you have to understand, this guy now has a reason to sue us. So we have to like be on our A game here.
Oh, because they can lemon law him,
Yeah.
or he can lemon law them.
And basically that's what he tried to do, but he wanted the car so bad, and he just heard free engine. We BVA'd him in that Q5 for 4 months. 4 months. And then the engine got back in his car, and his ECU fucked up. The car bricked itself. And that was the moment I knew he should have lemon lawed himself. I saw him on, again, like the week before, like I was on my way out. I'd already quit. He
Yeah.
stopped by to say hi, and I was like, I hope the new engine's treating you well. And he goes, the engine's fine, but the computer bricked. And I was like, bricked? And like, Audi has this thing where if you try to turn on the car and the ECU doesn't work, you get these three or four specific lights on the front, and it just reads a numerical code on the MMI screen between the gauges, and then the infotainment system won't load. So yeah, he got a lemon. He should have lemon lawed it. And I think he had grounds to lemon law it too. And he's like, I'm sorry, man, but like, I'm completely protected financially from this, but it's been the last like 6 months have just been a living nightmare since we picked up the car. And I was like, I'm sorry. I also just turned in my 2 weeks, and I'm out of here in 4 days. I'm going back to school or whatever. And I shook his hand. He was like, man, good luck out there. And I was like, thanks, man. Sorry it didn't work out. And that was it.
That's fucking
It
wild.
was fucking wild. That was the weirdest thing that wasn't the weirdest thing that ever happened to me at Audi. The weirdest thing was the Tommy Pickles person. This human being that looked like an adult version of Tommy Pickles from Rugrats came in and bought an A6, and he was like, he had some sort of intellectual deficiency, but he was a software engineer, and he would not
Well,
shut up about how rich he was. He always wore like children's shirts from Target and cargo shorts, but he was
hell
like
yeah.
my height and completely bald, and he wouldn't leave. He was like so
I know
weird.
this guy. I
He
don't
like
literally know this guy, but I know this guy.
Yeah, he would like sit at my desk, and he would just be like, yeah, so I live with my dad, and we were both in the same car. We had an accident in our car, and now I have kidney problems, and I have so many kidney problems that I have to drink this special fluid every day, and the special fluid keeps me from having more kidney problems. That's why I lost 300 pounds in 6 months. I seriously did. I lost 300 pounds in 6 months. I'm just like, okay. And he's like, well, I don't really know if I want to buy this car yet. No, I need to take it for maybe a 4 to 6 hour test drive and make sure that this is the vehicle I really wish to purchase. And like, I'm gonna have to talk to my manager, dude, about that. This dude came by about once every 2 weeks for about 3 months,
That's only
and
exhausting.
no one would help me with him because they would just watch me deal with this dude. And they were, when they saw him coming, they were like, "You're here to see James Ross. He's right over here. Let me get him for you." And they were like, if that person would try to, if that salesperson would just do everything not to engage the customer in a conversation, and it was just brutal, dude. He went into finance, and he was telling us like, I live in a house, and I have a lesbian stripper living in my basement. She doesn't pay rent because she lets me watch her film pornographic videos. I pay her rent, and her children need medicine. I help her get the medicine. And like, he was in finance for an hour and a half, and he came out. And I had one of the he loved the technologist because the technologist there knew everything about the car's tech. That's all he wanted to know about. And the finance manager, I'll never forget this dude because the finance manager at this dealership was one of the best finance managers I ever had in my life. His name was Chris. He was so nice. And he was like, I've got to say that gentleman was by far the most difficult customer I've ever had in my entire life. And I was just like, yeah, man, I'm glad he ain't coming back here. Like, I made I made sure specifically not to give him my cell phone number. I was like, if you have any problems, this is the technologist's phone number. Like, and he was
Call
like,
that
that's
fucker.
excellent. I was like, I never want to see this dude again. And like, he was like, when do I need to come back? And I'm like, for what? Like, straight up asked him, I was like, why would you need to come back here? And he was like, well, isn't there more to it? I'm like, no, sir, here are the keys to your car. And he was
Bought a
like, oh, I
car.
don't need to do anything else. I'm like, no, well, what about license plates? Like, we'll get them to you. Takes about 6 weeks. 6 weeks. I understand. It was awful. One guy, the guy that sat next to me when I finished the deal, he like clapped for me. He's like, dude, I'm sorry. I was like, he bought the car.
I I deal with people like that all the time. I work with people like that. There's a lot of fucking software people who are not that way. That's pretty fucking weird, but
He
are
just
like
talked about how much money he had all the time, which was weird. That was like, I don't know many software engineers that just like brag about that type of shit.
a lot of software engineers are very like there's software engineers that either are very extremely good with their money and are very libertarian, or extremely bad with their money and are weird gamer nerds. Like they're either the types who have a checking account and a PayPal account and literally nothing else, like no savings, no retirement, no credit cards, or they churn. There is no in between.
They chur?
Churn. Have you ever heard of churning?
No, what's churning?
Churning is where if you have a really good credit score, you can just sign up for whatever credit card you want. And your score is so good that it doesn't matter that you have like literally 60 inquiries on your account. And so what you do is you get a new credit card, you do whatever the intro offer is, and then you cancel that credit card and get a new one and do whatever that intro offer is. And you just keep doing this forever.
That's what my dad told me to do. I didn't know there was a name for it.
It's called churning.
Yeah,
There's a whole
well, actually,
subreddit
it
about
was
it.
more about like balance transfers. So I gotta like, my problem is debt. So if I can like subsidize my credit card loans into one loan, that's what I'm looking to do.
Well, it's not the one loan. It's the I did that for a while. I bounced around my debt through like three cards on intro APR offers just to get it down.
You though, you were so much money smarter than I am, and I see like, thank God, like I stopped being hard on myself when I was selling cars because I saw some people make just like the dumbest financial mistakes, especially at Volkswagen. Like when I was working at a Volkswagen dealership, I had this one customer family who like had to drag their like elderly mom in to sign them off because they had a combined credit score of like 522, and they were just like, we just don't care. We need transportation to get to our dishwashing jobs, and it's just like, you're like these two like
You
white
want a
trash.
2005 Honda Civic, you mean?
They bought something like that. I don't even know what it was. Volkswagen's kind of fucked up because the financing on Volkswagen is literally like, you can't get approved on a used car. Well, Volkswagen will approve you on the cheapest new car they make at 18%. Yeah, you got a 400 credit score. You can't get approved on a pre-owned car, but you can get approved on a new car at 18%. Oh, it's bad. 18% is the legal limit of interest on an auto loan in the state of Texas. You can't. It's legally cannot go any higher.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And like, I don't want to like call anybody out because people do make mistakes. Like, they don't teach this shit in school. They don't teach you how to run a credit book. The only reason I learned how to like be good with money is because my parents finally had to be like, okay, this is the plan you're going to adhere to from now on, and we're cutting you off. Like that's it. Like you're gonna pay this credit card down, and you're gonna combine this credit card with this new credit card you're about to open, and then you don't get to use the American Express card ever again. And then I just had to like get, I've managed to chisel away at this debt for the last few years. And then like because of Obama, every time I get a statement from my credit cards is like, if you make the minimum payments, you will be done paying your credit card bill in 2029. Because that's how it works now. So
Yeah.
it's not that bad. It was just like being dumb. And like when I moved from Dallas and decided I wanted to go be an artist in South Texas, I lived off of a credit card until I got a job. I mean, I just paid for all my bills with a credit card for like 4 months, completely maxed it out, and like got a job and just started paying it back.
I'm
And
gonna
I
pay.
would go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm gonna pay off mine in 1 month.
Nice. That's like why I wanted to get into tech so bad. Is like I won't have any debt.
Yeah, I will just have the Civic.
Money's pretty fucking sick, dude.
No, I'm sorry. I owe 31,782.35 on the Civic.
You owe the
So
same amount of money I owe on my golf.
almost $32,000.
I owe 32,186.
I owe less money than you do.
Well, by a small margin. But that's still a pretty okay deal for a golf because I got 0%.
Yeah, I did not get 0%.
Well, you bought it before the plague. Oh, is there anything else? We can just end this and hang out. Or is
Yeah,
this your sheets?
let's hang out. That's my shame sheet. Let's hang out.
Let's hang out.
All right, rise up, gamers.
Rise up, gamers. Save your money.
Save your money. Be smart. Buy Honda Civics. Buy Volkswagen, not Volkswagens.
Everything's funny with a pocket full of money. Bless up. Wait, no, not that. Stop recording.